How many of us have seen these movies where AIs and robots literally have to take over the world? Such movies where people have to now run away from their homes, move into colonies, and everyone is scared. Oh, robots are taking over, robots are taking over. I'm sure you've seen a couple of them anyway. I literally had chills down my spine when I watched Terminator for the first time, and then even other movies like the Transformers. These movies were so realistically written that you would think that if AIs ever had to emerge in this world, that's exactly how AIs were going to come. They were going to be 10-foot giants who were always dwarfing all of us and making life a miserable hell. But the truth is that AIs are now here to stay. But instead of looking like Bumblebee or Optimus Prime or having to attach itself like into our bodies like Terminator or Cyrax or Jax in Mortal Kombat, now these AIs literally live on your phone, right? So ultimately, you have AIs and they're literally controlling your life as well, because they look like your Alexa, they look like your Siri, they look like literally any other self-help, app or tech a piece of tech product that you can think of. So you get the point. AIs are now, incorporated into our everyday lives. And previously, human labor was heavily driven by human beings themselves. Right? But now the way AIs work is that they can literally write up your journal or write your to-do list for you, or even drive you to work, in the event of self-driving cars and all of that. So what you need to realize here is that these things have come to stay. I do see oftentimes, even in conversations where people still have skepticisms about how much AI can do for individuals and all the fears that it comes with. But I think that first thing to bear in mind is that AIs have come to stay. The world, literally marveled at the technology behind, ChatGPT, which has now morphed into GPT-4, and its ability to do everything for you, like writing your codes, answering questions, asking you, or giving you tips on how to pick up that girl at the party or stuff like that. But the point is that because it has become so integral or so important into, our everyday lives, means that it's basically not going anywhere else, because human beings, as much as we loathe the interference from outside world, as we like to call it, or this alien interference of AIs, we also incredibly enjoy ease and want things to be done easier for us. So if the sophistication that we would have subjected ourselves to is something that we can outsource to these AIs, I'm not sure anybody is going to be voting for banning AIs anytime soon. Second thing to note is that you can still be relevant even though these AIs are here, because the most ridiculous thing I see, and debaters do this a lot, right? Because this is a debate channel. A lot of you in debates argue that because AIs are here, the first thing you want to argue is unemployment, which is bullshit. Forgive my French. But the point is that you can still be relevant, right? Even while this AIs or artificial intelligence, whatever, is here. How do you do that? Now ask yourself, if you knew that the world wanted something, right, and the world wanted it badly, what would be your survival mechanism? Is it to cower, in silence and just, allow whatever it is to happen? Or is it to actually learn how to deliver that thing to the world, right, and make yourself much more relevant? So ultimately, I think that what needs to happen now is that people need to learn how to incorporate AIs into their own professions. Because a lot of people think, well, the answer is to move away from tech jobs, because those are the first things that AIs are going to take away. But no, if you're a teacher like myself, if you're a debate coach, if you're a public speaking coach, if you're a therapist, what you could do is to learn how to incorporate these things to make your own life easier. I think that the overall aim around AIs is not to replace human beings, but to make human life easier. I don't think that there is any, utility or enjoyment in suffering. If you could live your life knowing fully well that at the time you wake up your coffee has been made and your car is ready to drive itself and your toilet seat is warm enough for you to sit on it, I think everyone would love that kind of life. So ultimately, rather than loathe or fear this idea of losing your job, what you could look at is being able to become better at your job. So more practically, as a debater, how does this help your research skills, right? Rather than all the PDFs you needed to read previously, now you can have AIs that convert all of those PDFs into audio books for you and makes your life easier at the end of the day. Now it means that even your sparring sessions can actually be done with these AIs. Rather than ask ChatGPT to give you points for your arguments or for your debate, you could actually argue these things out, or have ChatGPT give you the opposition argument of the thing. So even if you're not a debater and you're watching this video, ultimately the point is to note that you could always find a way to incorporate AI into that field of your work, whether as a teacher, as a medical doctor, as an engineer, or whatever else. Because the truth is that the future of work is going to be controlled heavily by the people who learn how to partner, with these tools and these machines. So if you go back to those movies like Transformers or Terminator or the Endgamers, whatever movie it is, the point is that if you notice, what the lesson you want to draw from there is not that AIs are going to be fearsome and are going to be scary and as huge as Bumblebee, and Optimus Prime. The point to note is that the people who became the protagonists of these movies, the people who you loved and admired, were the people who took sides with the AIs, not who stood against them or tried to reject them. That's the lesson you want to learn from this and from those movies as well. Know fully well that regardless of where you find yourself in as an individual, as a professional, that you are always going to be able to get a step higher than everyone else around you if you have a friend or a partner who makes your life easier. So if you've gained value from this video, right, then I think you should hit the subscribe button and follow for more exciting talk that we're going to be having. But more importantly, remember that you are probably seeing this video because an AI chose to work on the algorithm that suggested the video to you. So yeah, my name is Eze Makuba and I'll see you next time.